Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. Guess what came in the mail today? We'll be taking a look at the new 27 palette from Melt Cosmetics. I took a picture of swatches, so I'll have those for you on this video as well. A live demo, just using a few of the shadows. This is basically a first impressions as I've not applied these shadows as of yet. This is the first time I'm using a Melt Cosmetics eyeshadow palette. I have used their eyeshadow stacks in the past, but looking forward to try out this formula. If you want to see how the new 27 palette from Melt Cosmetics looks and applies and all that jazz, then please keep on watching. Some quick details about the brand. Melt Cosmetics is owned by Laura and Dana. Laura's palette, Gemini, which I believe is currently still sold out. Don't know if it's gonna get restocked. Sold out in a flash. That had the olive tones, mustard, and browns. Really beautiful arrangement of shades. I'm low-key bummed that I don't have it. We're gonna talk about that another time. And Dana released her palette, 27. Her birthday is June 27th, and that is the day this palette released on. It's a really cute outer unit carton where she has a lot of her photos. Basically, I feel like her life in a nutshell is just all visually represented on this palette box. When you open it up, here you'll find the actual palette. Really beautiful watercolor type of situation going on. I'm not quite sure what the inspiration was in terms of the design for the palette. The shades for sure are well represented in this outer cover. On the back you just have the logo here and the rest of the details. This palette retails for $58. It's expensive, it's only 10 shades. And we're looking at a total net weight of 20.7 grams or 0.73 ounces of product. I'm happy to report that this arrived rather quickly. I ordered this on the Wednesday it released, and it arrived today, Saturday. Free priority shipping, standard 5 to 7 days, and or was it 3 to 5? I have to double check. I'll leave it up here somewhere. For $58, it is a very expensive palette, and I'm very happy that I received it quickly. If you don't know Melt Cosmetics, they are an indie brand, again, started by Laura and Dana. Cute story, they met and worked at Nordstrom in the James Tint counters and wanted to start a brand or create a lipstick that was ultra matte but very bold in color. And that's why you'll see, if you've ever encountered their lipsticks, that they have these hot pink shades, purple shades, super matte and super pigmented. And then from there they released their eyeshadow stacks where you have individual magnetic pans that you stack. You can stack as many as you like. They recently, I'm not sure how recently, launched a palette that you could put these pans in. It's a little big, it's a big palette to have, and that's why I was thrilled when I saw they were releasing their 10 shade palettes. Here it is. Oh, she's so pretty. Here is the palette. I feel a reasonably sized mirror given the dimensions of the palette. And here are the shades. These are not new, we all know, but we still want to get it anyway. Don't you love how my nails match? Makeup is already done. I've already prepped my lids with concealer powdered with loose powder. Here are the swatches, and ideally I will have liked to put the image of the palette next to my swatches so you have an idea of what color is which in the pan. You know what time it is. Okay, I need to wash my brushes. It's getting out of hand. I feel it isn't great when I'm trying to figure out what the shade is and what new eyeshadows look like because, hello? I gotta carve out the time, man, but you know, I'll get there. In the meantime, I'm just gonna rub it on this towel that I got. What shade should we use? I'm leaning more towards thick and, oh man, I think I wanna go in first with Naked Sleep. See how that goes. Looking at a lot of kickback in the pan, but I expected that because these are very, very soft. I'm gonna get a lot of kickback in the pan, but just as long as it doesn't get on our face, we're good. This 10 shade palette comes with 8 mattes and 2 metallics. So it's all about the mattes, as their company started with the whole matte lipstick concept. that's understandable. And a lot of their eyeshadow stacks are mostly matte as well. There was one stack that had those midnight metallic shades, and then their most recent release, their baby girl stack, I feel maybe had 1 or 2 metallic shades in there. This is a nice soft crease transition shade. I think it really nice if I were to do a no makeup look, but I just need a little more depth into the crease, especially if I went in with concealer. This is a nice shade to bring some color back in. Well, that blended nicely. Now the question is, I think I want to do thick. This shade intrigues me. It looks mauve, but in the pan, I'm wondering how it applies. Here we go. But, ooh, see how this goes. Oh, that's pretty. I like this color. Oh, I dig that. I like that a lot. It's a nice I feel if I were having just a really lazy makeup day, I would put this all over my crease, lid, and lower lash line. And I think it will give a really nice soft, easygoing, smoky mauve eye. Mauve. I'm gonna start pulling it out a little bit. This is just blending very nicely. Lots we got, girl. Ooh, we got lots of kickback in the pan. But I report no fallout on my face. That's a nice, I like this shade a lot. I like it a lot. Right now, I'm wearing the Makeup Revolution foundation stick. I will do a separate review video on that because I definitely want to do a wear test for you guys so you can see those results. I'm going back with Naked Sleep just to smooth out these edges. And yeah, so we could kind of decide what our favorite foundation is for the summer season. Ooh, I feel because we went mauve, we kind of have to, well, not necessarily. Maybe we could use Downtown. See, this is thick and this is Downtown. Because the next deep shades here are Whiskey Neat and Moonchild, which I really need to use. I'll come back on here and do a look with these warmer peachy red shades. I think today I'm in this area right now. I know when it went Naked Sleep, I know that's just the way it goes. Whiskey Neat with my Smith, what is this? 235. First brush I used was my Wayne Goss, either the 16 or the number 3. I'll put it down below in the description box. Whiskey Neat on the outer corner. That's adding some nice depth. Low-key depth, but depth nonetheless. I really love this shade. It's not super intense. It's a deep brown in the palette, but the way it applies is a lot softer. Not sure if it will show up more intense if I were to apply it on the first shade, Naked Sleep, because thick I felt really built up the saturation on my lid. Nevertheless though, I feel it's a good setup for Moonchild, which we will be going in with next. I am putting Whiskey Neat onto the inner third. Think it's about time we apply thick to the lower lash line, and with that I'm going in with my Luxie 231. Looking on in the camera because it's actually easier for me to apply it when I see up in this way. I really love how Laura and Dana wear their eye looks, especially Laura. Laura, I mean, blows her stuff down like, whoa. Really super grungy, and I think it looks beautiful. I'm taking Naked Sleep and grazing that on the lowest edge of the thick. Now with Whiskey Neat, same brush to the outer third of my lower lash line. Okay, the shade that I am dying to use, Moonchild. Deep Maroon with my Morphe M514. Oh, that's a lot of kickback. This is adding really nice depth. Again, because I feel I'm applying it on thick, it's not going to show up distinctly maroon. It's going to build that intensity in terms of deepening the colors. I think it's blending rather nicely. Now just dragging it lower third side. I don't actually know why Melt Cosmetics is called Melt Cosmetics. Try to find that on their About page. I'll link the About video that they have on their website explaining how the company started and how they first met. I was wondering if they were ever going to mention in that video why the word melt. I guess I could probably research it and find it in some article out there in the interwebs. But if you know, let me know down below. I'm starting to pull it out a little more. You see, this has a bit of a longer V-point than this size, so I'm just trying to even that out a bit more. Taking Naked Sleep, and I'm running that on the edges to smooth them out. I really love how this looks. It looks smokier in person, and I'm digging the whole mauvey plummy look. This does remind me of the Moroccan Spice palette from Fenty Beauty in terms of the shades that I used. I'm sure if I use the red peachy shades, we will have a totally different eye look. But for the most part, in terms of performance, I'm really loving how they are blending. I think I got maybe a little bit, I'm not sure if that's fallout or just really bad reapplied concealer. Just in case, I'm just gonna carefully, brush that area. I now definitely want to go in, I think, with Vegas Past. I'll try with a dry shader brush first, see how that goes, and if we like it, then maybe we'll wet it. I kind of have a halo eye situation going on, and therefore we'll just stamp this right on the center. Oh, that's not showing up a lot. Going in with my finger. That's a lot better. I think it pairs very nicely with the mauve plummy shades we got going on. Here we go. See what that does. I think that helps the shadow adhere better to the skin because it did feel a little dry when just applying with my brush sans Fix Plus. This is applying dry, and if you wanted a low-key type of lid, then maybe you would apply it dry, but if you want that high metallic finish, you definitely need to wet it. I was reading the reviews on Gemini palette, and it seems that the two metallic shades in there was one that was not getting great reviews. It was super dry and crumbly and very hard to apply, and I don't know if they took that feedback and tried to avoid that texture problem in this palette. I really can't compare because I don't have Gemini, but from my experience now in this moment, it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite metallic shade. I think it's a little dry. And you definitely need to wet it, and even after wetting it, I feel it still looks weak on the lid. I don't know if you guys can see and tell. It's a beautiful shade. I just wish it had a little more punch. I'm taking my pinky with Vegas Past and stamping that right into the center of my lower lash line. That's pretty. Smoothing the edges here a little more so they don't look crazy. I'm also gonna put Moonchild in here on this inner third. Because I feel there's like a gap between Vegas Past and the rest of my lid, and it looks too bare. I think I'll take Crime Fighter, which is the other metallic shade here, with my pinky, but to the inner corner, higher, so it doesn't go too low. Oh, that's pretty. Little fallout on my inner part of my nose. So good though. I'm gonna stamp that in. And you see that this palette is not about having brow bone highlight, matte lid color shades. I mean, this is just purely devoted to the 27 color scheme. If you're looking for a more comprehensive palette that has like your typical brow bone highlight, inner corner highlight for several skin tones, you will not find it in this palette. We'll have to dip out if you were, I don't know if my camera just cut off, I don't know if it captured what I said, but I'm gonna go and get some mascara on these lashes and I'll be right back. Ooh, my light's going. Here is the finished look, friends. What do you think? Right now on camera, it looks good. In person, I feel it looks a lot more smoky, a lot more grungy, and like mysterious. I thought the eyeshadows were fairly easy to use. The mattes, I feel, outperformed the metallic shades. And I'm saying metallic shades, I'm very sorry that I don't have this information on hand, that they consider them shimmer or metallic in terms of type of eyeshadow. I feel like they swatch nicely, but when they go on the lid, I feel they apply a little dry. And even in this swatch, it kind of skips over my skin. I know that's very, very difficult to see. If I were just to say off the top of my head, like shimmers and metallics from Juvia's Place and Colored Rain, you swatch those on skin and lid and they are full bodied. I feel that these aren't as full bodied as I would like them to be. This is Crime Fighter. Yeah, man, I don't think they're a little on the weak side to me. Like, I feel this is a shade that's better for blending than it is for packing. And it's the metallic shade in the palette. And the crazy thing is, I mean, I know it's hard to see, but Vegas Pass is everywhere. You got so much pigment in that pan, but when you swatch it and apply it, it's like, where'd it go? I do think the mattes perform better. I feel they have a really nice texture. They blend beautifully together. They don't look muddy, which is another critique on the Gemini palette, that if you went too crazy and used like all the colors, they will just turn out muddy and wouldn't show as that color. I'm not too sure if when perhaps one day I'll apply thick, maybe with Downtown or Moxie, how that will look, but I will come back on here for sure and apply these shades just to see how that eye look turns out. I feel like I really need to pack in Moonchild to give that nice intensity, but I feel it has pretty nice depth. What do you think? This is, I feel, very, very smoky for the day. Not for me, because my smoky standards are way high. You can definitely soften up the look, but I think that's perhaps my most favorite characteristic of the palette, is that it houses shades that you can just use all over your crease, lid, and lower lash line, and it creates a really beautiful, soft, smoky eye. Some shades are really hard to achieve that, because typically that's like a tan shade, a warm brown shade, but it's nice to have like Downtown, for instance, which we didn't use today. I think is a beautiful shade to use all over the lid and crease, just as to give you really nice smoke. And it's not your typical warm brown tan shade. Thick, I love. Thick is what we use today. Beautiful texture. And I feel a nice alternative shade to use for that very purpose. I'm mad at the metallic shades. For $58, I expected more from them. I did. The mattes are gorgeous. Again, I didn't use all the mattes today. I have a feeling from just swatching them and the texture I experienced that these will fare off pretty well. Yeah, man, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed with the metallic shades. I'm gonna keep using this palette. I own it. I'm not returning, because you can't return, I believe. I'm overall happy with it. I love the eye look that I created. Generally, I've been more into plum, mauve, smoky eyes than I have been with your traditional warm brown, deep brown types of smoky eyes. I'm really digging the color scheme. I love the tones of this eye look. I will continue using this palette and just update you on my experience with it. That's why I really appreciate the community tab here on YouTube. That is the newest feature that is available to us, because sometimes you use a palette once and then you encounter things and experiences, observations that you want to share with your viewers that perhaps you didn't mention in the video at the time. And I think if it's gonna help someone decide to buy something or not, then it's nice that we have an opportunity to not just share that information in the comments section, but to just have a bulletin of updates and new things to share. Let me know if you picked up 27, if you played with it, if you have 27 and Gemini, how they compare in terms of performance and wear. And that, my friends, is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And until then, I'll see you on here again with another review, demo, swatch, chit chat, something, something, something. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.